You. Hi, delivery guy. Let me sign person. I'm your boss. You. Oh. Signing the contract then. Like and subscribe to avoid more mix-ups. Ever had one of those days where everything feels just off, like you've stepped into a parallel universe where nothing makes sense? I had one of those last Tuesday. It started like any other day, except for the tiny fact that I, Mark, a perfectly ordinary delivery guy for a local restaurant called the Corner Bistro, was about to get mistaken for a reclusive tech billionaire. Yeah, you heard that right. It all began with a simple delivery to a skyscraper downtown, the kind with more glass and steel than a spaceship. The address was for a company called Innovate Inc. I'd never delivered there before. I walked into the lobby, juggling a stack of pizza boxes and a bag of salads. The place was buzzing. People in sharp suits were rushing around, looking stressed but important. I found the reception desk, manned by a young woman who looked like she could run a small country from her ergonomic chair. "Hi, I have a delivery for Innovate Inc.," I said, trying to sound professional despite the tomato sauce stain I just noticed on my sleeve. She glanced at my uniform, then at the pizzas, and her expression was, well, it was a mix of confusion and mild panic. "Oh, Mr. Sterling. We ... We weren't expecting you to arrive so." Personally, I blinked. "Mr. Sterling? Who's Mr. Sterling?" Before I could correct her, a man in a tailored suit practically sprinted towards me. "Mr. Sterling, we are so honored. Please, right this way. We have the boardroom prepped for you." He gestured wildly towards a hallway, ignoring the pizzas entirely. I tried to speak up. I think there's been a mistake. I'm just here with the lunch, ... But he wasn't listening. He was too busy shooing people out of the way, announcing, "Mr. Sterling is here. Clear the path." So, there I was, a delivery guy named Mark, being paraded through the corridors of a high-tech company like a visiting celebrity. People were peeking out of their offices, whispering, and even taking discreet photos with their phones. I was swept into a massive boardroom with a table so long it could double as a bowling alley. At the head of the table was a single chair, clearly meant for someone important. And they were all looking at me, expecting me to sit in it. This was my chance to clear things up. A simple, "Sorry guys, I'm just the pizza guy," would have done the trick. But then I saw their faces. They were hanging on my every move, their expressions a mix of awe and terror. They really truly believed I was this Mr. Sterling, a name that sounded like it belonged to a character in a spy movie, not a tech mogul. And a mischievous little thought popped into my head. What if I just went with it for a few minutes? What could possibly go wrong? So, I did something I never thought I'd do. I slowly walked to the head of the table, placed the pizzas down with a deliberate thud, and sat in the big, important chair. I leaned back, trying to look thoughtful and enigmatic. I looked around the room at the dozen or so executives staring at me. The man who brought me in cleared his throat. "Mr. Sterling, we're ready to begin the presentation for Project Chimera whenever you are." Project Chimera. That sounded intense. My brain was racing. What would a billionaire do in this situation? I decided to play it cool. I opened one of the pizza boxes, pulled out a slice, and took a bite. The room was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. They were all watching me eat pizza. I chewed slowly, deliberately. After what felt like an eternity, I swallowed and said, "The crust. It lacks ambition. I have no idea where that came from." Ambition? For a pizza crust. But you should have seen their faces. They started nodding furiously, scribbling notes. "Lack of ambition noted." One of them chirped. Another one leaned in and whispered to his colleague, "Brilliant. He's testing us. It's a metaphor for our corporate strategy." I was in way over my head, but I was also kind of enjoying it. The guy leading the meeting, let's call him Suit Guy, clicked a button and a giant screen lit up with charts and graphs that looked like a foreign language. He started talking about synergistic paradigms and leveraging disruptive technologies. I just sat there, eating my pizza, occasionally nodding or saying something vague like, interesting, or elaborate on the scalability. They showed me prototypes for some kind of holographic communication device. It looked incredible. They asked for my input. I'm a guy whose biggest technical decision of the day is whether to take the stairs or the elevator. So I did the only thing I could think of. I picked up a bottle of water, looked at their multi-million-dollar prototype, and said, "But does it have a cup holder?" Silence again, followed by a frantic explosion of activity. A cup holder. My God, he's a genius. The user experience. We completely overlooked the user experience. Suit guy looked at me like I'd just discovered fire. They started sketching designs right there on a whiteboard, trying to figure out the optimal placement for a cup holder on a holographic projector. This went on for nearly an hour. Me, Mark, the delivery guy, revolutionizing the tech industry with nonsense feedback. I told them their color scheme was too apologetic and that their user interface needed to believe in itself more, and they ate it up. They were treating my every word like gospel. It was the most surreal experience of my life. I was seeing firsthand how much power perception holds. They didn't see a guy in a stained uniform. They saw the mysterious billionaire they were expecting. They weren't listening to my words. They were interpreting them through the filter of their expectations. Because a billionaire couldn't possibly say something dumb, right? It had to be a metaphor. It had to be a test. But then, the real Mr. Sterling showed up. The door to the boardroom swung open, and in walked a guy who looked exactly like me. Okay, not exactly, but eerily similar. Same height, same build, same slightly messy brown hair. The only difference was he was wearing a hoodie and jeans that probably cost more than my car. He was holding a single, very fancy-looking coffee. He stopped in the doorway and looked at me, sitting in his chair, surrounded by his executives and a half-eaten pizza. Then he looked at them, then back at me. A slow grin spread across his face. The entire room froze. Suit guy's face went from adoration to horror in about half a second. You could literally see the color drain from his face. The real Mr. Sterling walked over, looked at the whiteboard covered in cup holder designs, and let out a chuckle. A cup holder, huh? Not bad. He looked at me. I'm guessing you're not here to discuss Project Chimera. I just shook my head, my mouth full of pepperoni. I've got your lunch, I mumbled. He burst out laughing. A big, genuine laugh that echoed through the silent room. The executives looked like they wanted the floor to swallow them whole. Mr. Sterling waved a hand dismissively at them. Relax, everyone. It's fine. He turned to me. I'm guessing you're Mark from the corner bistro. I nodded, finally able to swallow. And you must be Mr. Sterling, I said. You can call me Alex, he replied, taking a slice of pizza. Thanks for keeping my seat warm. And for the design input. I genuinely think we need to look into that cup holder. He paid for the food, gave me a tip that was more than my weekly paycheck, and then did something I never expected. He asked me to stay. He told his team, "This is Mark. For the last hour, you all thought he was me. You listened to him, you respected him, and you valued his brilliant insights on pizza crusts and cup holders. Let this be a lesson. Good ideas can come from anywhere. And maybe we should stop being so intimidated by titles and start listening to people." I ended up staying for the rest of the meeting, sitting next to the real CEO. And you know what? It was fascinating. I even threw in a couple more ideas, this time without pretending to be a billionaire. After all, if a pizza guy can accidentally redesign a multi-million-dollar project, who's to say where the next great idea will come from? That day taught me a huge lesson. We spend so much time judging people based on their clothes, their job, or their title. We put people in boxes. He's the boss, she's the intern, he's just the delivery guy. But under the uniform, we're all just people, with thoughts, ideas, and maybe, just maybe, a brilliant suggestion about a cup holder. So next time you're about to dismiss someone, maybe pause for a second. You never know if you're talking to a delivery guy or a genius in disguise. Or maybe, just maybe, they're one and the same. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to look for the extraordinary in the ordinary. See you next time.